What's up, everyone? Back for another vintage cube today. So, what do we want to take out of this pack? Maybe Shelldock is the strongest card. There's two fetch lands, those are both okay. There's some 6, 7, and 8 drops. Don't really want to take those early. Yeah, this is just a pretty clear Shelldock is going to be the best pick here. Maybe you could take Fyndhorn Elves too. You really want to play green, but besides that, I think Shelldock has the most upside. So this pack has Karakas, which can go in almost any deck, and it's really strong. There's also Bribery, which can be a good finisher. It can be really good against like Reanimator or Sneak Attack decks. Then there's some okay green cards, another 1-drop Elf, Garruk Relentless. I think probably best to take Bribery. Just I don't want to pass a strong blue card if I want to have like any hope of ending up in blue. So that's gonna make me take Bribery over Karakas. Bribery also goes pretty well with Shelldock Isle. Okay, so there's Emrakul, which also goes really well with Shelldock. It wouldn't be out of the question to take it. I could try to end up in Shallow Grave Reanimator or Sneak Attack. There's also Vendilion Clique, though, which is just a great blue card. Oh, and Shallow Grave is in this pack, actually, so I could maybe table the Shallow Grave. Let's take the Emrakul. This might not be the best pick if I'm really trying to maximize win percentage, but let's try it out. Okay, here's the other Emrakul, which is also pretty good with the same type of things we're trying to do. This one's much better to cast than to reanimate with Shallow Grave. But there's also Jace, which can be a discard outlet. Wheel of Fortune, which would be pretty good in the Sneak Attack deck. I think probably best to just take the Jace, and it's going to go in any blue deck. We don't have to go all in on combo. We can maybe just play the Emrakul with a couple ways to get it into play. Okay, here's Show and Tell. Definitely not the best way to get Emrakul into play. It doesn't give it haste, and it gives the opponent a chance to put something into play for free. So yeah, I really don't find it to be playable. You can definitely sideboard it in against like mono red or mono green. So I'll try to wheel that. There's nothing really strong in this pack. I'm just going to try to stay in blue. And so I'll just take Seagate Stormcaller. It's early in the draft, and maybe we'll pick up some good instants or sorceries. Okay, now the blue has dried up. We'll see how that goes. There is a Collective Brutality, which will be okay if I end up in Reanimator. It also works with the Stormcaller, so that's nice. Looks like green might be open as well. There's Wall of Blossoms and Whisperwood Elemental. Makeshift Mannequin can bring back Emrakul, but it's pretty slow. So I'll start with the 2-drop. Okay, well, Reanimator looks open. This is 7th pick, and we're getting Exhume, which is... it's much stronger than Makeshift Mannequin, I'll say. It doesn't go with Emrakul, but still no blue cards. Oath of Druids, we could try to do that. Try to just play one creature, the Emrakul. That could be cool. I think it's probably safest to just take the Exhume. It really goes well with what I have so far. Living Death is a pretty fun card. I used to try to combo it with Survival of the Fittest all the time, because you can just do crazy stuff like searching out all your creatures, putting them all in your graveyard, and then bringing them back at once. It's pretty cool, but I haven't really seen it used well in a long time. I think the format just got a good amount faster. So I'll be happy to take Night's Whisper, though. So this is the pack we opened. Dark Slick Shores is looking pretty good here. Blue has dried up after like the 5th pick, but that's pretty normal. We can just get a few blue cards next pack. So yeah, I'm happy to take the dual land. It looks like we're definitely going to play blue-black at this point. I don't love Shieldred, even though it is a Reanimator card. I think it's one of the worst ones. I'll take Recurring Nightmare. Can be good in the grindy matchups. This pack had the Shallow Grave in it, and it has not wheeled, so that is definitely worrying. So we might not be able to play this Emrakul in the end. But Ophiomancer is just good against the creature decks, so we'll take it. Okay, there's 2 big creatures that we could try to get into play. I think the Emrakul might be a little bit better. Okay, we get the Makeshift Mannequin back, but we do not get the Show and Tell back. So that's kind of interesting that someone would take Show and Tell and Shallow Grave without having Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. So maybe they're really forcing the archetype. Maybe they have the Gristlebrand or something like that. But we might look to transition into blue-black control or a more traditional Reanimator deck. But we end up getting paid off here. We open Ancestral Recall, which goes with our Seagate Stormcaller, and that's just going to be a great card. We can probably wheel Necromancy or Gonti. So this is pretty interesting. There's Fractured Identity, which is, everyone knows by now, it's just one of the most back-breaking 5-drops in the entire format. But it is off-color. We would have to splash white, or maybe cut some of these black cards and move into white. There's also just Mana Leak, which is a really strong 2-drop. But there's also Una's Prowler, which is like the all-in on Reanimator card, but I don't think we want to do that. Just given what we saw in the last pack with someone taking the Shallow Grave. So I think I'll just take the Fractured Identity. It's much stronger than Mana Leak, so we'll just play to the higher upside. And, you know, maybe we can cut a lot of these black cards. We could cut all 3 of these reanimation spells. The Collective Brutality might be mediocre if we don't need the discard mode of it. So we can maybe just move into white. And we're getting paid off here because Teferi is probably the best card in this pack, so I'll just take that. See if we can table one of these other white 3-drops. Flicker Whisper, Council's Judgment would be okay. There's some good options here. Library would be solid in this deck. It goes well with Ancestral because you could refill your hand and start using the library again. There's also just Urza and Cryptic. Cryptic is an amazing card, but it's just really hard to cast, especially if we're going 3 colors. And Urza, this doesn't exactly look like the Urza deck. We don't have, although we do have Emrakul. We have Urza, Emrakul, Shelldock. That's actually kind of sick. It's just a little slow is the thing. This is a pretty tough pick. I'm going to just take the Cryptic. Cryptic and Library kind of suffer from the same thing. They just make your mana worse. So maybe I should have just taken the Library. I don't think we're going to make Opposition work. We don't have enough creatures. You probably need to be blue-green to make that card work realistically. We can't take the white cards here. They're too aggressive. I do like Kitesail Freebooter, so I'll just take that. I'm not sure how much black we'll end up playing, but I like this more than Hangerback Walker. Kind of regretting this Cryptic command pick. Not sure how good our mana is going to end up. Okay, so we have Spellseeker to get our Ancestral. We also just really want to prioritize blue cards just to have as much blue mana in the deck as possible. And there's not really that much else I would want out of this pack anyways. So the white has kind of dried up. We haven't gotten any great white control cards since the Teferi. And we haven't gotten any white duels either, so It's not looking great for our 3-color deck here. I think Bloodchief's Thirst is the best pick. I like Kaya too, but I'm just not sure if we can cast it. I like Dark Confidant a lot. We probably won't be able to play these Emrakul's if we're playing it. Elspeth Conquers Death is another good 5-drop. But we kind of have that slot filled already. And then Winds of Abandon is solid. Still, yeah, kind of not sure about what I'm doing with my colors in this deck, but I think Dark Confidant is going to be the best card for us there. Maybe I can just take out the 2 Emrakul's and all of the reanimation spells. Okay, so as I say that we're not getting any white control cards, now we get really late Swords to Plowshares. And yeah, it's definitely better than Kitchen Finks for the deck, so I'll take that. We still haven't gotten a chance to take any dual lands. Definitely be looking to take those over almost anything. The Reanimator thing really has not worked out, so I'm going to take out these 5 cards. And yeah, we're left with, we have 15 playables here. We're lacking in win conditions. We do have Bribery, which can be unreliable sometimes, and the same with Fractured Identity. You could win the game with both of those cards, but yeah, we do need to get maybe another Planeswalker or something to win the game with. Okay, Woe Strider will be all right in this deck. So someone took the Flicker Wisp, but left the Council's Judgment, so there's probably an aggressive white player at the table. I don't think we're going to be able to cast Council's Judgment after all said and done. I'll just take the Revoker. It does its job. It can shut off a Signet for a few turns or a Planeswalker, or it can block against mono red. Sometimes it can block against mono white. I definitely wish that I took the Vendilion Click early in the draft over the Emrakul. Okay, so Tide Hollow Sculler would be a pretty good card. It would probably be better than Walking Ballista. It's just not clear if we can cast to the Tide Hollow Sculler, but I guess I'll just take it. Probably won't be able to play any of these cards. I'll just take the Spirit of the Labyrinth because we don't want to play against that card. This is a league, but yeah, probably still worth it to take it. So we might have to cut this Cryptic command. And if we do that, our mana doesn't look that bad, actually. We only have double blue on Bribery. So it does feel kind of like a wasted pick on this Cryptic, but yeah, that pack also had Urza and Library of Alexandria, but let's see if we can pick up some fixing and a win condition in this last pack. So Umezawa's Jite would be kind of a win condition against the creature decks. It would be solid. We have 9 creatures right now, so we might have enough to use it with. I'm not sure if we need Wrath of God or even if we're going to try to cast a double white spell, so I think the best card for us is the Jite. Graben Inspector would also be solid. So we get a chance at a blue-black man land, which would be okay for the deck. Bitter Blossom, which is a slower win condition. Factor Fiction, which is a great card, but it's not exactly what we need in this deck. We already have Dark Confidant, Ancestral, Night's Whisper, and Spellseeker, so we have plenty of card draw. And then Treachery is really strong against decks with creatures. I also love Skyclave Apparition, but again, I don't think we can cast it. I'll just take the Bitter Blossom. It's good with the Jite. We do need win conditions, even if it's a slow one. Inquisition of Kozilek fits this deck. It goes along with all of our card draw. Just lets us cast another cheap spell. I also like Thieving Skydiver. Now here's Shambling Event, the black-white manland. I think I'll take Inquisition. I would be taking these dual lands if they were maybe fetch lands or if they were true dual lands, but the tapped creature lands are not the strongest ones. So here's Polluted Delta, which is one of the best fetch lands we can get. Here's the Gristlebrand in case we wanted to go back to the Reanimator idea. But we ended up not getting Entomb. Entomb is really important for the Reanimator deck. And there's Celestial Colonnade. So we've seen all three of the creature lands. All three of the Esper creature lands, that is. But I'll just take the fetch land and hopefully we can find a Hallowed Fountain or something to go along with it. So here's Grave Titan, which is probably the best Titan for our deck. Yeah, I'll be happy to take that. We really need something like this. Okay, and Ashiok. This is a really strong win condition. Force of Negation would also be okay, but we don't actually have that many blue cards. I'll definitely be happy to take the Ashiok. Yeah, Reanimator is like halfway open at the table, but we got a lot of strong control cards. I'm pretty happy with what we have right now. We just have awkward mana, but yeah, Toxic Deluge is another great controlling card to pick up. Okay, Hymn to Turok is definitely solid. Yeah, it's looking like I'll take out this Tidehollow Sculler. It's going to be really hard to cast that. We might have to take out all these white cards, which would be a shame. We have really strong white cards. I'll take the Null Priest here. I actually don't mind this card. It's good as a 2-drop. It gives you some value later in the game if you can kick it. And I like to have some incidental life gain in my black decks because there's so many good black cards that cost life to cast. And when you draw all of those black cards together, you can start to lose those games. So like Bitter Blossom, Dark Confidant, Toxic Deluge, really great cards, but you don't want to fill your deck with too many of them. So I really don't mind having a 2/1 Menace Lifelink. It's also just really good against the aggro decks. Skyclave Apparition came back. Yeah, we really just can't play it though. Yeah, Dismember will be fine. These white cards are looking really good, but can't cast them. So maybe, yeah, it's looking like we're not going to get anything that's fetchable to splash the white cards. I think we'll at least have to cut the Swords to Plowshares and the Teferi Time Raveler. Maybe we can still play the Fractured Identity. Or maybe I cut the Fractured Identity and then I can still play Cryptic Command, even though, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to play Cryptic Command either. We have a lot of creature removal. We have 2 sweepers, Toxic Deluge and Damnation. We have Jite, which is really good in the creature matchups. But we could struggle against Planeswalkers and things like that. So yeah, I really want to play the Fractured Identity. It's also something that we can play off of Shelldock Isle, which is nice. We can discard it to Jace Vryn's Prodigy if we have to, or Pack Rat. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to play it. I'm not going to play the Cryptic Command. And we'll probably cut another one of these interactive spells that destroy creatures. We probably don't need so much of that. Maybe Damnation. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Liliana's Death's Majesty is just a little weak. Yeah, bear with me on the card sizings here. I'm changing up the way that I record these videos, trying to get the cards to be the right size so that you can read them easily. So we have 24 cards in the deck right now. So we're gonna need to cut one. I think I'll play 17 lands in this deck. So I'll take some of the weaker cards and bring them over to the right side of the screen. Yeah, these feel like the weakest cards that I have. Collective Brutality, Null Priest, Revoker. And I think Revoker might be the weakest just because it's going to depend on the matchup. Sometimes it won't have anything good to name. I also like having the discard outlet on Collective Brutality. Although, yeah, we're not really reanimating. I don't think it's that important to get to discard something I can't cast like Fractured Identity, but yeah, I think I'll just start with taking out the Revoker. We have 10 creatures plus a Bitter Blossom plus an Ashiok and a Bribery, Fractured Identity. Yeah, so we actually have plenty of ways to get creatures to go with the Jitte. Yeah. I am a bit worried about the control matchups and the combo matchups with a deck like this. Just this deck can't close out the game fast, and we don't have any counter spells. So, but you know, if we play against creature decks, we're gonna have a really good shot. We also have some broken stuff going on, like Ancestral Recall. So, this deck is okay. I'm gonna play 2 planes to go with the Fractured Identity. Let's see how many. This is 7 blue sources. And it's 10 black sources. That seems good to me. We only need double blue for the Bribery, which we can cast later in the game. We also have plenty of card draw, so you know, usually I would want to have between 2 and 3, like 3 to be safe, white sources for the Fractured Identity, but we have card draw in this deck, so I'm going to go with 2. Okay, here we are for round 1. I'm going to try to resize these cards again. That looks okay. So we're on the play. This hand is a little slow, but I'm going to keep. We have really good mana, and we have some good cards, even though they're slow. So which of these will be good in the late game? Bloodchief's Thirst would be good. I will still have to pay the kicker, though, so it's going to cost 5 to destroy any planeswalker or creature. Or I can pay 2 to Night's Whisper. I think Night's Whisper seems a little bit better. So I'm going to take the Night's Whisper. I don't think we need the Pack Rat effect. With this hand, we have Bribery to win the game with. It looks like my opponent mulliganed to 5 on the draw, and they're playing some sort of green ramp deck. So this is going to be a pretty easy turn. I'm just going to try to deny them resources however I can, and this is going to be a really good matchup for us. Okay, they're main decking Relic, which isn't going to do a ton against us. I can Kitesail Freebooter them to try to take them off of a Planeswalker or something like Natural Order. It doesn't seem necessary this turn because they're only on 2 mana. There's not really, I mean, they could play Oko next turn, which I think Oko is in this cube. I actually haven't seen it yet. I just imagine that it must be. And I'll definitely take Ancestral with the Spell Seeker. Even though I guess Hymn to Turok would have been okay there. I could have gone Kitesail Freebooter plus Hymn next turn, but okay, so they are ramping pretty strong. They could play a 6 or 7 drop next turn. But I'm still going to be able to bribery them, most likely next turn. So I'll start by casting Ancestral on myself. And yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything better that I can do besides cast Kitesail here. I'd like to give myself the chance to take maybe Nissa out of their hand or something like that. Okay, they do have Harmonize, which great to take that one out of their hand. Now next turn they are playing blue-green. We see the breeding pool. They can cash in their Monolith to cast Gargaroth here. So I actually cannot cleanly deal with the Gargaroth with this Dismember. So they're going to get a trigger off of it, but I think I'm okay with that. Because we can just bribery here, which ramp decks are always, of course, going to have a good target in them. Let's see what we can get. Vorinclex. Oh, they do have Oko in their deck. Okay. They're playing Opposition. Is Avenger or Vorinclex going to be better? Avenger will give me 5 plants. Yeah, I think Vorinclex is a little bit better. Now I can attack here and I can attack and trade. I think I'm okay with that. My opponent will be able to get 2 triggers with their Gargaroth now, so I might regret this attack. They're going to get to draw a card here. Yeah, so I don't think that attack worked out great for me. But I will just send everything and Dismember now. I don't really think there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. They're choosing to draw a card again. So they will be able to cast something here if they through Avenger of Zendikar, for example. Okay, Green Suns for 7, so they're gonna get Avenger of Zendikar here. And they will get 5 plants. It feels worth it to scry here. Ashiok, let's see, exile the top. Ashiok has to be good enough to keep here. I'll leave back the Woe Strider. Block, I don't want to lose to... I'm not sure if like a fetch land could kill me from the opponent. Maybe fetch land plus rampant growth. But yeah, they don't have a great block for Vorinclex is the thing. It has trample, so yeah, if they're losing their Avenger, then I'm feeling pretty good about the game. Oh wow, Vorinclex works with Planeswalkers. I have not played with this new Vorinclex much, but our Ashiok just went up to 10, so that's kind of insane. So Ashiok starts at 3 loyalty. I plus 2, then it goes up to 10. That... I'm not sure if that makes sense. So we're playing against blue-green. We could bring in the Damnation. That's pretty much all we have. We do have the blue-green sword, which would be okay. Phyrexian Revoker stops Oko. That's probably going to be good enough to bring in. So let's bring in the Revoker. And it probably makes sense to switch it out with the Null Priest of Oblivion. Yeah. And then do we need another sweeper? Do we need Damnation? Maybe it's better than Inquisition of Kozilek. Inquisition is not the best on the draw. Let's try it like this. Well, we have the white mana for the Fractured Identity, but we're going to have to mulligan this. It would be interesting if this was an island. I guess I would keep if it was an island. Okay, so the opponent is mulliganing along with us. This hand looks pretty good. I think we'll put the Woe Strider on the bottom. Okay, the opponent is kept on 6, just like us. Spellseeker is the better 3-drop in our deck. And I'll keep the Grave Titan because our deck can be slow to finish the game out. Okay, that's a great draw. So I can try to just curve him into Toxic Deluge. If they have Oko, it's going to be rough. But outside of having Oko, we can kind of answer everything that they have. Okay, Pack Rat. Probably won't be able to use that this game, but let's see if we can hit... Okay, we did hit the Gargaroth. So they're left with one card and a draw step here. Really, them playing a creature would be fine. I'm probably going to Toxic Deluge next turn no matter what. I can take out two of their creatures and can take away 2 mana from them, or even 3. If they don't put the counter on Devoted Druid here, that's just going to be too good to pass up. They do have the Monolith, though. Okay, so they're still stuck with 1 card in their hand. But I'm not sure what they're holding. Maybe it's... I feel like if they had Harmonize, they would have cast it last turn. Maybe it is a Vorinclex, or... Yeah, they couldn't cast a 6 or 7 drop last turn. So it could be Vorinclex or Avenger of Zendikar. But either way, I'm going to take them off of 3 green mana here. That's going to be insane. If they draw a forest, they can cast Vorinclex, which would actually be pretty good. But they're going to need to do it pretty quick. Okay, drawing a land was good. We're just trying to find an island and then another land so that we can cast this 5 and 6 drop that's in our hand. Definitely just get Ancestral again. Draw us into some land drops next turn. They find a land, but they still only have single green, which is certainly a problem for their deck. Collective Brutality could take a Harmonize out of their hand, but I don't think that's necessary. Casting Harmonize is going to be too slow for them this game. Okay, so they drew Oko this turn. Which is definitely not bad. But yeah, we're just gonna slam Grave Titan here. They can elk it, but the Grave Titan has still brought in these 2 zombies that even if they elk it, that's still 7 points of power. So they do elk the Grave Titan and they play 5/3 Lodestone Golem. So the Oko is at 5. I can send these 4 creatures at the Oko. And it will have to die, so I'll send in this way. If they block Lodestone Golem on the Pack Rat, I'll just create 2 rats. We don't have that much else better to do with our hand, really. They have 2 cards still. We do take down the Oko. Their Monolith is now tapped. We saw their deck. I don't think they have a way to get out of this, really. 7, 9, 10. I don't think we can get lethal here, though. I think we're off by 1. Because we have 3, 6, 10, 14, and then I can make 2 rats, which will give me 4 more. Oh, they also have the food, so yeah. No reason to put the Jace down here. Okay, nice, we got it. Okay, we're back with round 2. Get to be on the play again. Okay, this is another awkward 1 land hand. We do have some 2-drops though, but probably just too risky. We'll need to draw a land on our very first draw step, so. We're also playing another deck that has Ancestral Recall in it, so you always get paid off for mulliganing these decks. Look, now I have an 8-card hand. So we'll keep. We can't cast the Hymn to Turok, but that's okay. Not sure what to put back. Could put back the Swamp. That might be crazy, though. I think I'll just put back the Pack Rat. I think that is one of the weaker cards in my deck. So I can resolve this Ancestral right now. So I'm at 5 cards. Yeah, I'll just do that. Oh, we got the Pack Rat back. Okay. Okay, the opponent has some power of their own and another mana rock to go with it. But we have some hand disruption here. I'll definitely just start with the Freebooter, see if we can take a Planeswalker or something from their hand to slow them down. Okay, they're playing some sort of combo deck. Wow, yeah, their deck looks spicy. I like it. So they can't cast these red cards. They're not even close to casting them. Well, they're close to casting Wheel. I think I just take the Thran Dynamo and we'll see about that Wheel of Fortune. They might draw a red and be able to play it, but... Okay, they do draw the Mountain. Are they just going to fire it off here? Or more likely they'll just play the Lodestone Golem. Yeah. Okay. So the Golem is really not taxing us much right now. My opponent has 3 cards left in hand. I know all 3 of them. So Hymn to Turok has a 2/3 chance of getting the Wheel of Fortune out of their hand. So that seems good enough to me. 1/3 of the time, Hymn is going to leave Wheel in their hand, and then it's going to be like I wasted my turn. The Hymn will have done nothing. I think I'm okay with that, though. 2/3 of the time, this is going to be really good. Okay, we got there. And they have Mindslaver in their graveyard, which they might be able to recur later, but as of now, they just have Showdown of the Scalds that they cannot cast. Okay, I can Spellseeker and get... I have a couple of removal spells. I have Inquisition, which I don't have a discard spell that can take Showdown of the Scalds. I think I'm just going to want to use Jitte this turn. I mean, they do have a 5/3 in play, and I just have the 1/2, but if I'm getting 2 GT counters each turn, I'm actually winning the race, and I can destroy the golem at some point. I guess the race is actually even. They're doing 1 damage to me each turn. I can gain 4 with the GT each turn. So we're both just dealing 1 each turn. Okay, they have Marsh Flats. That's most likely going to be able to get them a white source. Yeah, they have the plateau, so I haven't played with Showdown a lot. Do we get to see the cards? We are about to find out. Okay, we do get to see the cards. Okay, so they have Tolarian Academy, which is going to be pretty good next turn. They can't put it down this turn. So what does Showdown say? Until next turn. So they can play these 4 cards next turn. And then they get this ability of putting +1/+1 counters on their creatures, which that won't do that much. I imagine next turn they will just play Tolarian Academy and then play Sundering Titan, because they will have... I can remove Lodestone Golem with my GT if I like this turn. Then they'll be down to 2 artifacts. And then, so they'll have 6 mana plus 2 mana from Tolarian Academy, so that's 8. So they will be able to play the Sundering Titan. But I think I'm okay with that. That's really not going to do that much. So, question is, what do I want to do this turn? I'm going to remove the Lodestone Golem. I'm going to lose my island and a swamp next turn. But I think it makes sense to get the Spellseeker into play. I don't think we have anything amazing to search for with it. We have Night's Whisper, which can draw us into some more lands. I think that's probably what we want to do here. Yeah. Okay, now we'll just let them cast their Sundering Titan. Maybe they'll want to do Narset Trinket Mage. Kind of doubt it. The Titan's gonna take out one of their red sources. I do need to hit an untapped land if I want to use Bloodchief's Thirst, because I'm planning to remove the Sundering Titan if they play it. Wow, they are going for Trinket Mage. Okay. Skull Clamp. Interesting. So they can clamp the Trinket Mage before I'm able to kill it. So that's going to be pretty good. That will stop my beatdown on the ground. I have 1 counter on my GT, so that means I can attack Narset for 3 if they end up playing the Narset here. I also can remove it with Bloodchief's Thirst. They drew Nahiri. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they could have just waited one turn to put the Nahiri down, and now they're leaving this Narset stranded. They're not going to be able to play that anymore. So they can Nahiri to take out my Kitesail Freebooter? Okay. They get their Thran Dynamo back. I mean, they have a lot of mana. Okay, so they have just the Thran Dynamo in hand, which we know of. Not able to bribery this turn, so I'll just use Shelldock. We're getting very close to activating it. And Bitter Blossom is going to be better. The Jitte should make sure that we don't die to the Bitter Blossom life loss. Now I need to decide what else I want to do this turn. And I think I'll just destroy the Nahiri. I don't want to give them any extra draw steps. I'm going to have to destroy this Nahiri at some point. Because I'm not really attacking it down anytime soon, so... Okay, there's the Thran Dynamo. I think I'm just taking this damage. I'm going to be dead to a lightning bolt here, but I think I'm okay with that. They would have had to draw it this turn. Okay, so we can get the Bitter Blossom into play now. We can also bribery. I think I'm going to want to Woe Strider this turn. Let's see, I have 6 mana. So if I bribery, that's the only thing I can do. So it's kind of awkward because I want to equip the Jitte as well. Yeah, I think getting the extra Jitte counters is too good here. I'm gonna gain life, so now I can survive some burn spells. Now I can either play Bitter Blossom plus Pack Rat, or I can play Woe Strider. I think I have to play Woe Strider. If I play Bitter Blossom plus Pack Rat, I'll be dead to a removal spell because I could gain life up to 7. I would take 6, and I would take 1 from the Bitter Blossom. So we'll play it this way. Okay, they're still attacking, which I'm happy with. I'm not sure if this is the right play by them. I'm gonna scry. I guess Grave Titan is good enough to keep. Okay, they have more mana. It's kind of just a matter of if they're able to draw an action card at some point. I could bribery them. Kind of like doing that just to take something out of their deck so that they cannot top deck it. That kind of seems good. I think that's kind of the way this game is going. Is that each turn they get a chance to draw one of these big 6 or 8 drops out of their deck. So Sphinx of the Steel Wind playing. Okay. Or I can take Goldspan Dragon. Yeah. I'll take the Sphinx. And let's just equip over here because my opponent might leave the Trinket Mage back this turn. So next turn I can attack with a flying Sphinx with a Jitte, and that will be lethal actually. So is there anything my opponent can draw? I should have taken a better look at their library. Yeah, I definitely should have. Just to see what they can top deck, but I think blocking here is got to be good. They get 2 cards, but we get two counters on the Jitte, and we take down a Trinket Mage. I think that's fair enough. We gain 6 life also. The opponent definitely has a scary deck. With the right draw, they can really cast some fast threats. Playing against Mindslaver is always scary as well when you have Toxic Deluge in your deck. Wow, they have Soul Ring too. So yeah, they definitely are capable of some really fast starts. How do we sideboard against this deck? Damnation might be good. Maybe I should just take out Toxic Deluge because, like I said, it loses me the game on the spot against Mindslaver. That's not the biggest concern, because you're usually in pretty bad shape against Mindslaver anyways. But it seems okay to make that trade, though. I don't have much of a sideboard with this deck. I do have Phyrexian Revoker. Yeah, this card is great in this matchup. So I'll do the same Revoker for Null Priest trade that I've done before. Collective Brutality looks pretty weak here. What else could I play besides Collective Brutality? Liliana. Liliana's really bad in this deck. Maybe just the Null Priest. Yeah, they just don't have small creatures or instants or sorceries. They have Wheel of Fortune, but I mean, they don't have enough targets for Collective Brutality. This seems like a mulligan. It's just a little weak. We'll give ourselves a chance to draw some of our stronger cards. So Fractured Identity, we're definitely going to keep this hand. We'll keep the Identity even though we can't cast it at the moment. It's really good in this matchup. I think I'll just get rid of Dismember. Dismember actually doesn't answer a lot of their cards. It answers the Goldspan Dragon, but it does not answer the Sphinx, Sundering Titan, Wormcoil Engine. So yeah, it's not at its best. And I've got the Pack Rat here. I can discard Fractured Identity if I need to. Pack Rat's probably going to be slow on the draw in this matchup, but I mean, it's the best thing that we have at the moment. Oh wow, my opponent mulliganed to 5. That's too bad. We might not get a great game here. Okay. Wow, they have 2 Moxen and Soul Ring. They have a sick artifact mana base. Wow, they have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, they're right back in this game. I mean, they're even quite a bit ahead. So we'll definitely start with the Freebooter again. Okay, we just have the one option. Wow, they mulliganed into all lands and an Embereth Shieldbreaker. And a Chandra, but luckily we can take the Chandra. Okay, Blast Zone, so eventually that can take out our Freebooter. I suppose that's what they're going to be working towards. So they can add a counter here. X charge counters. Yeah. So they're going to get the Chandra back at some point. Oh no, they drew Fire of Ice. Fire and Ice. So they don't have a great board to put Chandra down onto right now. They can Chandra and plus, and then it can withstand my Ophiomancer attack. they're going to Chandra, add 2 mana. And did they draw something else to cast with that mana? Or is it just going to be the Shield Breaker? Yeah, they're holding the Shield Breaker for my Jitte. The Jitte is problematic for them. Okay, I drew Spellseeker. That's a great draw. Gonna start attacking this Chandra down. So just gonna get, I don't think there's anything better than Ancestral. Could get Blood Chief's Thirst. That will let me remove the Chandra, but let's try to do it this way. And same thing again, I'm just gonna resolve Ancestral now while I know my opponent can't counter it. Okay, they plus into a Soul Ring, so they're gonna have a bunch of mana again. Their deck's really good at doing that, but it's just a matter of if they can find some action. It looks like Chandra will be able to survive if they... We'll see what their draw step was, but they could play at least one blocker here. Embereth Shieldbreaker. They do put the Shieldbreaker down. Just hoping that I don't draw the Jitte, and Mox Sapphire was their draw step. Okay, well, we drew Bribery, so I imagine Bribery is going to be good, kind of the same logic as last game. Just take another threat out of their deck. Maybe we can even get Sundering Titan here. Let's see. No, Sundering Titan is in their hand. Hold on, or they took it out of their deck. I think we know their hand. It's Plateau, Marshflats, Watery Grave, yeah. Why did they not play a land last turn? Well, I can Goldspan Dragon and take out the Chandra this turn if I want to, as haste. But I think just playing for the long game and just getting the Sphinx down is good. Ready. Yeah, dude, just take out the Chandra now. Seems good. It takes away one draw step from them. Effectively, it takes away their Chandra +1. We'll see if this ends up being bad. And play the Null Priest here. It seems kind of close whether I play that or not. I think I'll just hold it in case I have to end up using the Damnation. Okay, they're putting Blast Zone up to 3, which will take out my Ophiomancer and Spellseeker. They're going to attack, so I think I just block here, considering my Ophiomancer is not going to survive that much longer anyways. And the Blast Zone is going to stop me from playing Ashiok, so that's actually a bit of a problem. Maybe I should have not taken the trade to force the Blast Zone there. Okay, they drew Academy. Still know the 3 cards in their hand, so... Or maybe they're going to build this Blast Zone up to 5 to stop the Goldspan Dragon. Let's see. I guess they're going to take 6 here. So I can kick the Null Priest. Well, I can kind of do everything here. If I kick the Null Priest, I'll get back the Pack Rat, then I can even discard something to Pack Rat. Or I can just start Ashiok-ing. I think the Null Priest play just kills them faster, so seems a little bit better. Blast Zone going up to 5. Okay, so Goldspan Dragon is going to be down. Then I can make 1 Pack Rat token. And then I'll have 6, 7, 8. Yeah, then I should be able to get lethal because I can just activate Pack Rat twice. Okay, yeah, they're going to scoop. Okay, nice. That match kind of shows you the danger of playing so many mana sources. Okay, we're back for the last round. We're 2-0, so let's see if we can get another trophy. We're on the play again. I don't think I can mulligan this hand. You have 2 2-drops. You have some of our stronger top-end cards. We might have to discard 1 or both of them. But this hand seems good. Okay, the opponent leads on a forest. I think probably best to just put the Jace down. My opponent's playing mono green. They might have a lot of creatures in hand. We also don't really need to turn 2 the freebooter. It might still be good on turn 3. Oh wow, we're eating these words immediately. Turn 2 channel. Oh man. Okay, hopefully it's not an Eldrazi. Okay, we are playing Vintage Cube today. Okay. Really nice turn from the opponent. They're going to have 6 mana on their turn and 4 cards in their hand, plus their draw step. So let's just start by looting. I think it's safe to discard the Grave Titan. I can bring it back with the Null Priest later. And yeah, I'm just not sure what this Kitesail Freebooter is going to get out of my opponent's hand. They had Channel plus Gilded Lotus last turn, so what could they possibly have in their hand that they did not cast? But I'm still just going to use it because Pack Rat's not going to do a ton on this board either. So maybe they'll have a reactive card in their hand. Yeah, they have Gush and Regrowth. So Regrowth can get the Channel back, but they're going to have to draw something big and colorless for that to matter. Yeah, I think I just take the Gush. We have Fractured Identity, but we need to draw into the plains. Opponent with Ancient Tomb, Regrowth, and one unknown card in their hand. Okay, I guess it's nothing that they can play this turn. Get an island in case I find my bribery eventually. Have 2 cards in the graveyard, so yeah, let's just loot with Jace again. Yeah, I think we can discard a swamp. And I'll just play Pack Rat this turn. Could play Null Priest and try to beat my opponent down with these small creatures. Maybe I don't need to hold it to bring back Grave Titan. I think I'll just wait. I'll just give myself the option to discard it to Pack Rat. I am leaving 2 of my mana stranded, though, this turn. Not sure about that play. Okay, they have Tireless Tracker, so that's pretty great. I'm gonna have to remove that. Okay, so the question is, do we want to flip Jace or not? Because I can Bloodchief's Thirst now or after I loot. And I think I actually don't want to flip it, because I can always just flip it next turn. And I'm not going to use any of its abilities this turn, the Planeswalker that is, so I'd rather get 1 extra loot. I'm trying to find a Plains. Okay, Ancestral is a pretty good one. Get rid of the swamp. And this has to be good. If we miss on untapped land, it would be unfortunate here, but really good chance that we hit one there, and luckily we do, and it's a Plains. So we can remove the tracker to stop the opponent from drawing more cards. They can actually just regrow the tracker, so it's possible that I wanted to wait on this so that I could use Inquisition to get the regrowth out of their hand. So I think that may have been a misstep there. But I can flip Jace and then remove the Tireless Tracker again. Okay, let's flip our Jace and loot once more. think Inquisition is probably going to be not a thing that's happening this game. I can Fractured Identity on the tracker here. That seems good. Don't want to be too reactive. Let's use this proactively, and as long as they're not able to kill our Jace, we still have access to the Fractured Identity because I can flash it back. So we're a little bit weak to say like a Ulamog or something here. But Fractured Identity on the Tireless Tracker, that's going to help us win the game as fast as we can, which is kind of what we need to do here before they can play something huge, because they do have a lot of mana. Okay, they do have Ulamog, so they can... Yeah, now this is the reason to not use Fractured Identity. So we're really paying the price here. But it's possible that we can still win here. Collective Brutality. So I really just need to get permanence onto the battlefield. Yeah, I think we're just like a little bit short. Let's see. We do. I think it probably has to start with Collective Brutality on 2 modes. We'll kill the Trinket Mage and we'll drain the opponent. And I'm going to discard something, which is... Ulamog has Annihilator 4. I think Bitter Blossom is just going to be too slow, so I'll discard that. Now I can attack my opponent down to 7. And now I can make a Pack Rat. Yeah, that's got to be the best thing I can do. I'm not sure if we're quite going to get there on this, but... Discard Spellseeker. So we're going to have to sacrifice 4 permanents. Let's see. If my opponent has a creature... If my opponent has no creature or no play, then I can just sacrifice 4 lands here, and then I'll win the game. If they do have a blocker, they can block my Tireless Tracker, and then they will just take 5. But yeah, I don't really see what I'm supposed to do. There's not really any other option. So I'm just going to take it, and I mean, there's a chance they don't have something here. I don't think I really have outs now. Wow. Dismember. So that would have worked, but Caryatid has hexproof. Although I do get to keep one of my permanents. Okay. Well, let's attack with everything. Actually, no, this will leave me dead to the Ulamog. So yeah, I'm just dead here. Wow, sick game. I easily could have won this game just by waiting one turn on the Fractured Identity. So I knew that they would have Eldrazi in their deck because of the channel, but I also knew the contents of their hand. So not sure about that one. We could have beat a Kozilek. So they have the indestructible Ulamog, so Damnation doesn't do anything against it. This is another spot for the Phyrexian Revoker, so let's bring that in. Take out the Null Priest. Bribery is really good. Fractured Identity is really good. Yeah, I think the deck is okay. The rest of the deck looks good. Okay, this hand looks great. We have perfect mana. We have Inquisition to take channel out of their hand. I mean, that's one of the main ways we can lose this game is just a turn 2 channel. It's always dangerous. So let's see what they have. They have Scavenging Ooze and all mana. So the Freebooter can take one of the mana rocks. Bloodchief's Thirst can kill the Ooze. Yeah, I think I'll just take the Mox to slow them down. Ooze is just not that big of a issue, I don't think. I'll take the green Signet. Okay, they drew Biogenic Ooze, so that one will be a little bit problematic. Gonna take 2 turns for them to cast it though. Okay, Power Stone, their forest. So they have one unknown card in hand and both of the oozes. Full ooze tribal over here. I'll just put an island out and maybe they will be worried to play something into all this mana, but really we just have some reactive sorceries. But they play Biogenic Ooze, we're probably Fractured Identity on it. Let's see. Okay, they have Garruk. Interesting. So they're gonna Garruk and play Scavenging Ooze. So they're protecting the Biogenic Ooze from a counterspell that we may have. So that worked out okay. We'll take out the Garruk. I don't want to let them have Stream of Beasts or 2 extra mana. I want to try to stop them from getting to Eldrazi zone. Right now they have 6 mana. It's not extremely scary, but now they're going to feel comfortable to resolve the Biogenic Ooze. Maybe even something better. But if we Fractured Identity it, that will be pretty good. So they're just down to 1 card in hand that we don't know about. And we draw a Grave Titan. So that's actually kind of interesting. Oh wow, the Biogenic Ooze puts a +1/+1 on counter on Scavenging Ooze. I've never seen the combo assembled before. That's amazing to see. So they are quite a bit a ways from casting an Eldrazi. So I don't exactly think that we need to wait on this Fractured Identity. So it seems best to just break up their board and start building ours up. So now we will get the 2 oozes and they'll become 3/3s. My opponent attacks with their ooze token, I'll just take the damage this turn. Okay, they have Gilded Lotus, so they're getting to Eldrazi range. If they attack with their Scavenging Ooze, I will just block with my ooze token. I'm fine with that. Okay, Shelldock, which probably won't matter this game. We're 6 cards away from using it. But Grave Titan should end the game pretty soon. We'll see if they can cast something huge next turn. So which of these cards will we want very late in the game? Woe Strider. So opponent is on 10 mana here. Okay, Karn Liberated, exile Grave Titan. Not bad, but attack Karn, attack Karn. Attack the opponent? No, not right. I'll send all of these at Karn. The opponent will be able to eat one of my zombies, but that's okay. Answering the Karn is very important here. I guess I'll wait on the Seagate Stormcaller. Let's see, if I play it, next turn they can eat a zombie, then they can take 5, 10. Yeah, I guess I'll just play it. So I think it does actually increase the clock. Okay, so regrowth into Karn. That looks like it's going to work. No other cards in hand. Let's see, do they just exile the ooze? They do. Okay, I'm still in an okay position here. You draw a blank. So let's see what I can do here. If I attack like this, Karn dies, no matter what. I think that's the best I can do. Not a bad turn from the opponent. They're going to get 2 or 3 more draw steps here. Okay, we draw Hymn to Turok. I'm just going to fire it off. Not expecting to get anything out of it, but okay, so Collective Brutality. What does that do? I can put my opponent to 6 with it. Then I can do 4 with my creatures. Seems... I don't think there's anything better that I can do, so... Definitely don't need this island for anything. So I'll shrink the ooze. Now I can attack with everything because my Ophiomancer is not in danger. They can trade for the Stormcaller, go to 2. Now, let's see. If they draw Ulamog, they'll be able to survive. Okay, no, they didn't draw anything. Okay, we're going to go to the final game. So they showed me Garruk, and they showed me the 2 oozes that game. It does kind of make me want Damnation. Damnation is just good against green. Collective Brutality has gotten a little bit worse because I'm on the draw, so I can't take away a turn 2 channel from them. They also have Karn. Karn is certainly a problem. Let's take out the Collective Brutality and just put in this 2/1. It can attack the Planeswalkers. So definitely could be a tough game here. This hand isn't really functional, so we'll just have to mulligan. But I'm really looking for Inquisition, Ancestral, Bribery. So yeah, this hand is definitely great. Put back one of the swamps. Just looking for the best cards in my deck, which are Bribery and Ancestral, but also Inquisition is one of the most important cards to have on turn 1 in this particular matchup. Okay, I'll definitely take the Tracker. Yeah, my Elder is a little bit slow. I'll let them have that. So they currently have nothing in hand I can get with Kitesail Freebooter. Unless they drew Garruk this turn. Not going to count on that. I'll just try to draw into some more spells. I can Toxic Deluge to clear away their board and this Biogenic Ooze, and then Bribery to get an Eldrazi. That's the perfect way for this game to go. Did they play that Swamp? Let me check. Swamp. Yeah, so the Swamp is out of their hand. Now they've searched for a forest and another swamp, and drawn a card. So this is a pretty awkward position because I would like to spend some mana and do something, but if they just play Biogenic Ooze, I'm going to have to wipe the board. So this might be a little suspect. I don't think they've seen my Toxic Deluge yet. If they have Garruk or something, it's going to be good here, because they'll be insulated from my sweeper, but no, they're just going to play the Ooze. So that is fine. So we'll take care of the Ooze. Still need that second blue source. It will be good to put Freebooter down before they can Karn. So it's going to be hard for me to resist doing that this turn. So, although, yeah, drawing Fractured Identity is certainly great here. Okay, they had Fatal Push, so I'm going to get to take a look at their hand. Okay, that's pretty funny. So we saw Mishra's Workshop, Karn, and yeah, I really should have written those down because I cleared them on accident. Oh, Hero's Downfall, that's the other one. So Karn is going to come down. They exile my planes, that will be kind of sick. Although I would just be able to kill their Karn on the attack back, so. Not much to do here. I'll just take their Karn. I can exile a card from their hand, which will probably be Mishra's Workshop. And that's not necessarily going to do very much. So instead, I think I'll take out their Taiga. And then they'll get to Hero's Downfall on Karn. Okay, I don't think we know about any more action that's in their hand. Scavenging Ooze. Okay, that's not bad. We just need to draw an island somewhat soon. We have 3 more. This Ooze is going to get pretty big. So I can Phyrexian Revoker and turn off their Mox or turn off their Ooze. I think just turning off the Ooze seems better. I'll hold on to the Storm Caller, although it's not doing much since I only have a single blue. When it's going to attack for 4. Guess I'll block with the goat. I could hold on to the goat for later. Okay, they're getting back up to Eldrazi mana again. So yeah, so I've held on to the Stormcaller, but I just don't have the blue to use it. So there's not really much I can do. I have to fire this off now. Okay, we draw Confidant. And I have all of the expensive cards in my hand, so it seems okay to put that down. Suppose I could die to it, but I can always block with it here if I want to. Yeah, they're hitting for 4. This is kind of, I think I'll just block. I don't think I need many more cards. Okay, Sylvan Library, that's pretty good. Spellseeker. Spellseeker can get a removal spell out of my deck, but I don't think it's going to be better than Grave Titan. So they have Sarolf. Interesting. Well, I feel like I have to attack with Grave Titan here. Let's use Spellseeker, just to see what we're going to get. I think it's going to be Bloodchief's Thirst. Yes. It's definitely going to be Bloodchief's Thirst. What do I want to do with that? I can remove the Sarolf. Seems pretty good. Then I can attack like this, hit my opponent for 8. And now it's going to be tough for them to win, I think. If they get Ulamog, can they play it? They have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, Rabblemaster. That's going to leave my opponent with 2 blockers, and not sure if that's going to be enough for them to survive. No, I think we have lethal here. They block, yeah. Okay, awesome. Another 3-0, pretty classic blue-black control deck there. Getting pretty lucky opening Ancestral Recall lately, but yeah, that was fun. Thank you for watching. See you next time.